Welcome to another episode of the Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, also best-selling author, and every single day I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another fascinating guest. On the show, we interview celebrities, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, athletes, and artists to find out their path to success, how they're able to overcome challenges, adversity, and of course, their keys to success. And today's guest is definitely somebody who could add to that conversation because that's exactly what she does. She helps people overcome pain, overcome challenges, and I've had the opportunity of hearing her speak a few times, and her lessons, her skills, her messages, her stories are definitely stuff that people can relate to, people can actually implement into their lives and consider using so that they too can overcome challenges and adversity and pain, which is something I think is sometimes lost in the world right now because people are so holed up thinking that they can do everything themselves without reaching out for help. She's a person who is aiming to change the world with one conversation at a time. Not only does she have over 30 plus years of insurance background, but she also is a person who coaches people to overcome pain and challenges with the tools designed to help them get to the other side of pain that they're experiencing, and of course finding their own inner light and that brilliant life that's waiting for them. So please welcome coach, author, mental fitness expert, Ms. Brenda Bryson.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here and have a conversation with you today.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here. Now, a person who helps people overcome pain, suffering, challenges, adversity is not one of those typical, hey, what are you going to be when you grow up, when you go to elementary school? So share with us that path. Like, how did you go from what you were planning to do or what you went to school for, then into insurance, and then now doing coaching for people who are like working through things in their life?
Yeah, great question. For myself, I started off in life in a lot of pain, actually, through through a lot of losses, but primarily the loss of my mother when I was 6 years old. So I had that experience, and then a lot of other losses. My grandparents, uncles, neighbor. I had a baby nephew who passed away. So I actually did have a lot of pain that I was holding for a long time, and I didn't really know how to deal with it and how to process it. And so I just did the best thing that I could, living life, doing the things that we all feel like we should be doing, going to school, getting married, starting a family, all those kinds of things. And then what happened is I ended up going through a divorce, and it was totally unexpected for me to go through that divorce. And it brought up everything that I hadn't dealt with before, everything that I hadn't looked at, all of the pain that I had experienced in my life, all came to a head through that time. And so I was really brought to a place where I have to look at this, I have to deal with this and figure out how to get on the other side of this pain. Otherwise, it's just a really miserable place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so through that, I did a lot of different work. I went to therapy. Worked with a lot of different coaches and different mentors and that sort of thing. Really got to know myself and value myself to learn about how to get through that and how to get on the other side of that. And just knowing that journey, knowing how much pain that I went through and I've seen other people go through and not know how to deal with, not have the tools or resources on how to deal with those things. That's what really brought me to getting to this place of helping other people.
Mm-hmm. Now, you did something that lots of people struggle with, and that is you reached out for help. You reached out to talk to coaches, mentors to get you through that threshold. Why is it so difficult for some people to ask for help?
I think it can be a pride thing. I think our society is really set up to have people, take a stiff upper lip and power through things. And there's judgment out there that can happen. Like if I ask for help, then I might be seen as weak or as a failure or something like that. And it's actually the opposite. The people that aren't able to reach out and get help and get support, that's more of the challenging part, is when you're not allowed to or you feel like you're not allowed to get out there and ask for help and support. That's more of a challenge. When you have the courage to really be vulnerable and show yourself, then you can go so much further in life by having that help.
I would imagine that gap is either longer or shorter for certain people. For you, what did you do to get that gap shorter? So that what did you think about what happened so that you go, you know what, I do need to reach out to somebody. I do need to be vulnerable. I do need to show myself so that I could get that healing started.
Yeah. There's this quote that I've heard before, and it's something to the effect of when the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same, then, or no, sorry, I think it's the other way around. When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, then you're going to change, right? And so the pain of staying the same was too great for myself. And I've always been more of a lifelong learner. I've always surrounded myself with people who are looking to improve themselves in their lives and just continue to get better in their everyday circumstances. So it wasn't that far off for me to take that path. And that combined with the pain of staying the same, it was way too great. I had to get on the other side of it. And truthfully, if I had reached out for help sooner, then maybe I wouldn't have gone through the degree of pain that I did, actually.
Now, usually going out to find that coach, that mentor, somebody who can work with you one-on-one is somewhat like the last step of finding that help. What would you say is the incremental steps that people can take who's not ready to commit to a person one-on-one or go to that person and go, hey, fix me or help me or advise me? What would be those intermediate steps for people to get comfortable with that idea before they reach out for that person?
Yeah, I think any kind of community that you can engage in, and that being including social media, finding people that you follow, that you can hear about their stories and what they share and have some relatability. You can a lot of times see your story in other people and learn from the things that they go online and share about. I was watching a YouTube video last night, and I thought I always love, as I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm reading the comments. And that's a form of community, really, is going into the comments, seeing how people are interacting with what's being shared in there, and from that place then you really start to know that you're not alone and that there is help and support out there. So even if you're not entirely ready to get to a place where you're hiring a coach, there's so many resources, like more now than ever, that we've ever actually had. There's resources on social media to be able to tap into and start to help yourself. So there's that aspect. Then the other thing I would say is to start just really tuning into yourself and what life looks like for you. What do you need for your own happiness, for your own well-being? And really honing in on that. Again, another video that I was watching yesterday was talking about going on vacation and how some people go away on vacation to like escape everyday life. And why not take some of those simple pleasures that you have from when you're on vacation and incorporate them into your life today? Like if you enjoy coffee, just taking a few moments to sit and enjoy coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea lady, but that's something that I love to do, is have a great cup of tea, meet with a friend for tea and a chat. Those are things that are nourishing for me. And so for people to find out what it is that's really nourishing for them and their own self-care and their own well-being, and taking those steps. So those are the things that I would say: tapping into yourself, finding out the things that you can do to make your life feel more nourished, and reaching out for a sense of community as sort of baby steps towards working with a coach.
I like how you mentioned the the mini vacations or many aspects of vacations that you can implement into your day-to-day life. And I've had a conversation with a buddy of mine recently, and he goes, "Yeah, I got into meditation and I can meditate for 2 straight hours, and now I can go on a mini vacation during the day for 3 minutes and I'm awake." I'm like, I admire that because I can't imagine how that would feel to just, I'm gonna close my eyes, 15 minutes later, I'm completely rejuvenated. It's like, wow, that sounds amazing. It's like turning on that on and off switch right away. Um,
And
you mentioned communities and being in the right groups is very, very important. Now, when people are sharing their stories, yes, there's challenges, yes, there's pain, there's adversity, but there's a right way of sharing it and there's a wrong way of sharing it where you're either ranting, you're either sharing, or you're blaming, or you're self-blaming, whatever it is. It could portray a negative feel, aura, and actually escalate in your mind more negative feelings versus converting that into positive feelings. So what would you say is like, how do you tell a good group to be a part of? And what group do you go, okay, that group is not what I want to be in. Yes, they're sharing their stories, but I'm getting a bad vibe. Like, how do you
Mhm.
which one I should go to?
Yeah, again, pointing to the comments, right? What do the comments look like? Are people being supportive of each other? Are they uplifting? Are they attempting to help get on the other side of what the situation is, or is it just like down in the dirt, down in the mud, slinging around on what's happening? The other thing is when there's a lot of finger pointing outwards, then that's a clue as to the type of community. When it's always somebody else's fault, then that's not a good vibe. That's not a healthy community to be part of,
Mhm,
right? When it's people like looking to help elevate one another, taking self responsibility, and looking for ways that you can heal and transform that pain, that's when you know. And you actually know in your body as you're reading comments, as you're engaging with things, you know in your body, is this making me feel worse about the situation? Is this causing me like more anger and more distress? Or is this actually giving me some hope that I can heal and get on the other side of this pain?
mhm,
So those are some of the things to look at when you're engaging in different communities.
mhm. Now, how about for people who are sharing the story? When they're telling their own story, they're sharing their message, and sometimes you're lost in your own fog. When you're
Yeah.
telling your story, you're ramped up. You're talking about pain and anger and emotions and all that kind of stuff. Kind of envelops everything. Sometimes you don't catch what you're actually saying, and it's actually feeding your mind worse than actually making it better. So
Mhm.
when you are sharing your stories and you are sharing your experiences, how do you maintain that message so that it's positive, even if it was painful?
You have to do the work. Really, that's what it comes down to. You have to do the work to process. Like when you're in the middle of the storm, that's not when you're going to be most positively sharing a message, right? So it's a matter of being in it, doing the work, seeing your part in it, taking the self responsibility aspect of it. And if you look at it from that part each time, that's going to make a difference in how the message gets delivered, and know when the time and the place is to share.
Mhm,
I was on a call earlier and somebody was sharing about something that became really heated in a conversation. And so what they did is they stepped away. They had the awareness to know and to see, if I speak what's going on right now, this is not going to be a good situation. So they took some time to step away, allow themselves to process everything that they're feeling, to then be able to step back into the conversation. So that's something that's really important, is to have an awareness of your own emotions and when you have to call a timeout for yourself,
mhm.
right? Because we all need that sometimes.
I think I was on the same call.
Yes, I think you were.
When it comes to you talked about self-responsibility.
Mhm.
And there's a saying that goes, everything that you have right now is what you deserve. Everything that you are experiencing right now is everything that you've done up to that point to get to where you are today. Is there a point in time where it's not your fault, where you've done everything that you can, Ben, and things are still crappy? Can you then start pointing fingers, or is pointing fingers just not doable, not healthy?
Pointing fingers, I think the most important thing is to always point fingers inwards, like going back to what you're saying. There are other things that can come up that happen, traumas that happen. Yeah, you could point the finger to the trauma and say it's that the fault of that, right? And people can do that, but it does end up getting you stuck because then you stay in that place, right? And the whole world could agree with you. Like what happened was really crappy. The way that that person treated you, the way they spoke to you, those circumstances were really crappy. And that may very well be true. But where is that going to get you over time? Like that's going to just keep you stuck in a place and in the pain, and it's not going to get you anywhere else. So, what can you do about it? Work on healing the traumas, getting that help, getting that support, right? Like those are the things that are most important. Another thing that I would speak to is the power of gratitude. um, a book that I read a couple of years ago now called The Book of Joy with Dr. Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama talks about both aspects of like the pain that we experience in our lives and the joy. And a lot of it comes down to gratitude, like even having gratitude for the difficult times that we go through, because it's through those things that we grow and learn and expand our awareness of the world.
And it's also that pain and challenges that allows you to appreciate the joyful times and recognize the joyful times. And I've done this exercise with some of my clients where I go, okay, it sucks, but try and find something good about it.
Yeah.
Eventually they go, well, this is good and this is good and this is good. It's like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought. So sometimes going through that exercise is very, very healthy for your mental state so that you're not holding all that grudge and anger every time you approach it.
Mhm.
And it allows you to be a more uplifted person, somebody who people could actually, hey, talk to a little bit more because you're not all pissed off all the time. So
Yeah, it's true. Um,
something,
I just,
yeah,
so
go
I
ahead.
just had another thought that I was going to share along those lines, if that's okay. So a conversation that Stacy and I were having yesterday around when things come up, like there's certain ways of being that can sometimes benefit us if we don't even realize that those things are benefiting us, right? So sometimes like being in that place of victim and pointing the finger at somebody else, it can benefit you because it can sometimes like keep you small and get sympathy from people, but it doesn't get you on the other side of the pain and doesn't get you towards growth.
Mhm. Yeah, this sparks another quick little story that I'm going to share. Again, with that person who I was talking to, who experiences those mini vacations.
Yeah.
He just finished this retreat on meditation and how do you find peace and patience and all that kind of stuff. And he was saying, yeah, that whole process was amazing. We got to sit there and meditate for 2 hours at a time, have some breaks, but throughout the day, they meditate about 8 hours or so. And
Wow.
it's like for 10 weeks. And was it 10 weeks or 10 sessions? Anyways, let's say 10 units of something.
Yeah.
There's rules where you can't speak with each other, you can't look at each other, you can't move and all that kind of stuff. And there's this one guy who joins the group, and the guy does not follow any of the rules. And here's my buddy. He's like, "Oh, I'm so pissed off." But maybe this is a test. This could be a test. I'm gonna hone my energy to treat this like a test. I'm gonna get over it. And then out of all the people that you could sit this person, they sat this person right in front of his face. Because, oh, this is a test. This is a test. I'm okay. I'm okay. What's funny was that it took them 8 units, 8 weeks, or 8 sessions before this person got kicked out. I'm like, what? They should have kicked them out like after the second or third session. I mean, you actually lasted longer than your teacher. because the teacher couldn't stand him and kicked him out for 8 weeks after 8 units. And then he goes, "Yeah, what's funny is I started feeling sorry for him because like, I'm like, what?" So it's
Yeah,
it's kind of neat how your mind changes when you're able to calm down and kind of recognize who you are, where you are, and what is actually important with you for you. So being able to kind of reach out and work with people, surround yourself with other people, that support group is so important. Now,
yeah,
something you're really good at is working with your clients with this thing about conscious uncoupling.
yeah.
Share with us that whole skill set and what people need to do to start thinking about that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. So conscious uncoupling really is a better way to break up. It's being aware of your actions and the things that you're doing that are contributing towards the relationship as it stands and as it was, and getting through that and getting on the other side of that. So conscious uncoupling doesn't mean that it's something that a couple needs to engage in. It's one individual doing their own work through it. I came across it on the Mind Valley platform and went through it as a quest initially. And it's like a set of blinders were taken off of me when I went through the work. That's when I realized a lot of the things that I had gone through in my life, how they actually contributed towards the relationship and the breakdown of the relationship. And so it really combines a lot of these things that we've been talking about: self responsibility, awareness, dealing with your own pain, and gratitude. Actually, having gratitude for the relationship and the things that it brought you. Um, in your life and the ways that you were able to learn and grow through it. So after going through that experience of going through the quest, I wanted to learn more and do more with it. And so I went through and I did the certification with Catherine Woodward Thomas, and we really dove like even further into our own journeys and our own selves in order to prepare ourselves to be able to assist other people through the process. And so it's actually a 6-step process that we go through, and have different touch points. There's the book Conscious Uncoupling that we encourage our clients to read and work through the exercises and then work with them on those exercises to get through the process and get to a better place within yourself, first and foremost. Like aside from what happens with your former partner, it's getting to a good place within yourself to have a proper completion of that relationship. And what I find is that conscious uncoupling is primarily used for like a spousal relationship, but it could actually be used in so many different contexts, because a lot of the emotions and different hopes and aspirations that we have when we're going into a spousal relationship happen in different aspects of our lives too.
Mhm.
So it's really uh, interesting to see all the different ways that it can actually be applied um, to healing.
As
Yeah.
you say, business relationships is similar to finding that marriage relationship.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it is just interesting. Those aspects can still play into it and have the need to be healed too.
Mhm.
And that's something else that we don't really talk about as a society, right? You know that things happen that way in businesses, in spousal relationships breaking apart. But like where's the healing on the other side of it?
Mhm.
And that's where conscious uncoupling really comes in.
Mhm. Something else that you coach your clients on is that mental fitness. How does one build healthy mental fitness? What's your day-to-day routine that helps you with your mental fitness?
Yeah, it's interesting. You've been talking a lot about your friend with meditation, and that is a huge thing for me. I'm a big meditator, and I remember working with somebody at one point very early on in my journey, and my schedule was just so packed all the time. And she was inviting me to take 1 minute a day to breathe. I actually, I think the original invitation was like maybe 5 minutes. I was like, no, I don't have time for that. Down to 3 minutes. Then she got me to agree to 1 minute a day. so, so that's where I started. And then I had a yoga teacher that I worked with who introduced me to another form of meditation. And I remember this one particular day that I'd had just like the most incredibly stressful day. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put on this guided meditation. It was 7 minutes long. I told my family, like, just leave me be for 7 minutes. And I did that meditation and I felt like a brand new person on the other side of it. Like I really did feel like a brand new person. So that is a big thing with my daily routine is meditation. And that plays into mental fitness as well. So with the mental fitness aspect of things, it's being aware of the things that come up that are not your true nature, like the things that you have sort of built to react to people and things as a way of being, but that's not your true nature. And so having these little breaks in the mental fitness program, they call them PQ breaks, and there's actually an app for it. And so you go in and you do these like 2 minute breaks at different times through the day, or you can do a longer session, and they call those PQ gym sessions. So just like you go to the gym for your body, this is like going to the gym for your state of mind and your mental fitness and building it up. And your ability to do it for longer periods of time at a time is what really builds up your mental fitness.
That is awesome. It just dawned on me that I ask this question a lot, and I'm just looking for the answer that makes me feel good. Because
And what is the answer that would most make you feel
so
good?
so when I asked about the meditation, because the meditation is not something that I've incorporated yet. And
Yeah.
I just can't wrap my head around being silent for a long period of time. And in my mind, I was like, if I'm silent for a long period of time, I might as well just go to sleep or take a quick nap. I'd much rather do that. Or if I do sit there and be silent, I'll eventually fall asleep, kind of thing, right? And how do I stop my mind from thinking? Because there's lots of stuff going on. So
Yeah.
I'm asking these questions to people. It's like, so what do you do? And what do you do? And what do you do? And eventually some people go, well, like yourself, like you stay quiet, you kind of focus on something. Or some people say, oh, look at a flower, look at a candle, focus on that candle. Now really look at that candle and like that candle and all that kind of stuff. And then I have others saying that meditation could be anything that you want. So for instance, if you go for a run, that could be your state of meditation. Like, that sounds very close. Okay, I think I could accept that one. So what do you think about that? Is that true about meditation is different for everybody? As long as it clears the person's mind, is that the goal? So can a person go for a run for 15, 20 minutes to clear their heads? Is that a form of meditation? And does the results comparable?
Yeah. I would say definitely. For me, meditation is about presence with yourself, or presence with what's happening in the here and the now. The mental chatter of everything that's going on in your head is typically always something that's happened in the past or something that you're thinking about in the future. It's not being right here, right now. And that's what meditation does, is it brings you into the right here, right now. And even when different thoughts continue to come in, it's being present with those that come up. Like there's one particular exercise that we do in the mental fitness program that's called label with anchor. And so essentially your breath is the anchor. So you're always recognizing your breath. And then any other thought that comes in, you just label it for what it is. So you're being very, very present to what's happening. And so, yeah, for everybody, that's different. right? If that's going out for a run and being present, like, oh, I see a bird flying by, or oh, look at this leaf that is fallen down, or now that we're in spring, like, oh, I see the buds starting to bloom on the trees. Those are all taking you right into the present moment, and that's the essence of meditation, is bringing you into the present moment.
So I'm going to ask you this question, and that
Okay.
is I understand it's going to be different for everybody. For you, when you are in the moment, you are present, you are in that moment of yourself. What does that feel like? It's like if you were to film a Hollywood movie on that moment, what does that look like?
It looks like joy and bliss and happiness. That's what it really looks like, because you're just connecting to your own self in that moment, and there's like everything else fades away. So um if it would be a Hollywood movie, it would be like me just in a field with the sun shining and butterflies probably like landing on me.
I'm imagining that scene of Sound of Music when she goes running on the hills.
Yes. That would be a really great way to describe it.
Ah,
That
there we go.
that that's
We
the
found it.
place. So if that's not incentive for somebody to tap into meditation, I don't know what is. Yeah, it's really a blissful place when you can just be in presence and let everything else fade away. But then recognize that those thoughts they want to come in. They do. They want to come in and tell you, like, you don't have time for this. You've got to be doing this, or you've got this coming up, or that coming up. And so it's that mental fitness piece, getting your mind to focus back on, like, why would you even want to leave this place? It's such a happy place.
Awesome.
Be in the present.
I'm gonna hold out hope and wait for one person to slip up and say sleep could be a form of meditation. I'm like, okay, I'll be glad I found the right person. Um, you're a person who's also a writer. You've co-authored a book. Share with us about that book and how did you come across that?
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. So the books that I've co-authored, they're both the same title, but two different volumes: Transforming Pain into Purpose. And the way that I came across that, actually, the opportunity came up with a dear friend of mine that I know from high school. We went to school together. Well, even before high school, I think. We went to school together, and then we had lost touch and then reconnected. And he has a podcast and a community and all that sort of stuff. And so I just got to really know the other people in the community very well. And then he participated in a co-authored book. And I was like, well, that's amazing. I would love to do that. That's something that I'd be really interested in sharing. And so then he ended up working with the publisher to put together a group of people for those books. And so, yeah, I was really interested in being part of it, so that I could share more of myself, share some of my story, and again, help people with whatever pain that they might be going through, to recognize and see that there is a path out of the pain, and you can actually use that pain to transform into something greater than yourself.
Awesome. Would you be able to explain how one, like very quickly, you don't have to go in deep detail because I know it's different for everybody, how one can take pain and transform that into purpose? Because people think of pain as like, ow, I don't want to think about it. So then how do you take that and go, I'm going to take this and make it work for me?
Hmm. Yeah. With that, it's really finding the gifts within the pain, and it's not easy to find those initially. And that actually, as you're asking that, that takes me back to the mental fitness program as well, because that's one of the components of the mental fitness program, is finding the gift and the opportunity in every challenging situation. And it's looking for it sometimes. Sometimes it's not just that apparent that that pain is going to come into or transform into something greater. And so it's sitting with it, going through it, getting the help, getting the support, and then looking for the gifts within it to help get you to the other side.
Okay, so I don't want to take you to a dark place or a sad place. So I'm going to rephrase my question a little bit, and that is there a pain that you need to find a gift for that is so ridiculous, but it works for you?
I'm not sure that I exactly get what you're asking. Sorry.
So for instance, like I know some people go, oh, somebody passing away, they have to find the gift of that person passing away, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to a very sad moment. But is there something that happened that inflicted some pain, and for you to find the positive of the or the gift of that pain, you have to really stretch that finding muscle and go, okay, this is ridiculous. It's a gift. I'll accept it.
Yeah. Okay. So what's coming up for me with that is, like, for example, my mom passing away when I was 6 years old. I couldn't find a gift in that for a really, really long time. Like, to me, that just sucked. And I could get everybody in the world to agree with me that that sucked, right? And be in that place and be in that space. And so, yeah, it was really, really super painful, and it took me a long time. And sometimes it just does. Sometimes you finding the gifts comes easier. Other times you have to be with that pain for a while before you actually realize. And so for me, what I realized the gifts were from that, there was a lot that I learned. I learned to have a lot more independence. I learned to have more gratitude for different things in life. I learned the power of being a mother myself and what that means for my kids and the way that I show up and the way that I'm there for them. It also showed me how to really enjoy life, because you just don't know how much time that you have here. And so my life is actually more a testament to my mom and her passing and her leaving so early. So I live an amazing life because I just want to embrace every moment of it. So that's a purpose that has come out of that pain. But it did take me a long time to actually see that and find those gifts and extract them to be able to turn them into purpose.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. I was trying not to go there, but you shared anyway, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it's okay. I think sometimes we have to go into our deepest pain in order to find the transformation through it. Yeah.
Now, there's lots of people out there who are looking for that right person to work with them. But you yourself, you don't work with just anybody. You need to also find the right fit of your clients to work with you as well. So what's your process? How do you have the right person that's for you, and how do they know that they're the right person for you?
Mm. Yeah, I say when people connect with me, they can find me on social media, see what I'm about, hear me on the different podcasts, read my stories, see if they resonate, if they feel like they can really relate with me as a person. And then we connect on just an open call. I find out where they're at, what they're going through, if this is the right time for them, if it's going to be a right fit, if it's going to work for us to work through it. If there's somebody that I don't feel like they're ready or that it's not a right fit, I'm going to let them know that. And like in a beautiful, gentle way, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're not ready. I'll suggest different things that they can potentially work on, or refer them to somebody else that might be a better fit, that sort of thing. So it's really about connecting, having that phone call, building that relationship and that connection together, to see that whether working together is a good fit and will make a difference for them.
Awesome. Now
Yeah.
let's put you on the world stage, and you had a few minutes to share one message, a life lesson, or something that you want people to remember Brenda for. What would that be?
For me, it all comes down to love and love of self, first and foremost. When you love yourself, then everything that you have to offer the world radiates out and is able to be shared. And so that's a huge part of what I want to bring to the world, is to help people see and connect to themselves, love themselves, so that they can bring their best selves out into the world.
Great. Great words to live by. Hopefully everybody takes that to heart. Before I let you go, I got five quick rapid fire questions. Give me the first one.
Okay.
Come on. I think I've asked you this before, but I'll ask you again. First, you're stranded on the deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Lasagna.
Lasagna. Hollywood calls and go, hey, Brenda, we love your story. We'd love to cast somebody to play you. Who would you cast?
Well, she's not actually an actress right now. She's a singer, but I would say Leanne Rhymes, because everybody tells me that Leanne Rhymes looks like me. Yeah. So I'll
Awesome.
pick her.
Leanne Rhymes shows up at your door and goes, hey, I got casted to play your life story. Let's hang out. Let's get to know each other a little bit more. And you go, no problem. I got the whole night planned out. What does that night with Leanne Rhymes look like?
I think we are gonna have some really deep chats over tea. And then once we've had those deep chats and great conversation, we're gonna put on some awesome music and have a dance party.
Awesome. Partway through that dance party, she goes, oh, I'm hungry. And you go, oh, perfect. I got the perfect thing to make up for you. Just come back to my place. I'll whip it up quick. What's that special dish?
Oh, it would probably actually be dessert. It'd be something chocolatey, some kind of chocolatey dessert that we would
Can't go wrong
enjoy
there.
after our dance party.
Give me a number from 1 to 5.
5.
1, 2. You want this 5 or this 5? This one?
The one that your finger's pointing to right now. Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to use muffins as a metaphor for success, how is success like muffins?
Success is like muffins because it overflows. Like the more success that you have, the more success that you get, and you can't contain it to just that little bottom part, and then it overflows and grows. And it also, you have to have a bit of an edge, like, so the hard part on top, you have to have a bit of an edge, but inside you still have your heart, and it's all kind of mushy.
Nicely done. So that's how success is like a muffin. I'm going to share something very quick about muffins. So everybody loves the muffin top, and we had our daughter was hungry, so we bought her a muffin. I pulled off the muffin top, and for the longest time, she thinks muffins only had the stub. I'm like, yes, it worked. And then the one time we forgot that we left the muffin top on top, she goes, oh, she took it off and gave the top to me. I'm like, yes, success.
You trained her well.
Um,
That's good. I love it.
so thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you? And then also any final words?
Thank you, Fong. I would say the best way to get in touch with me is probably like on Instagram, Brenda Bryson. Simple, easy to find me that way. Or through my website, New Decisions for Life is my website. Those are the best ways to connect with me. And any final words of advice, I would say everybody has the ability and the power to get on the other side of their pain. And whether you decide to work with somebody or whether you decide to go it on your own, you're worth it. And don't let your pain run your life. Get control over it. Take responsibility to get on the other side of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Everybody make sure you connect with Brenda, find her on social media, great content, and also a great person to connect with. And yeah, until next time, Today is the day to unlock your peak potential. She's Brenda. I'm Fong. We'll see you later.
Thank you.